everyone, thank you for joining us for this special story time. This story time today is all for you. We are lucky because we've been able to have a very special person who has written a very special book for all of us, and she's here today to read her book with us. Please welcome Jenny.
Hi everyone. I wrote this very special book for my mum and my dad because they are Oma and Opa. Now I wonder, what do you call your grandparents? Do you call them Oma and Opa? Or Nana and Pop? Or Gran and Granddad? Mine are Oma and Opa. And we've had a bit of a funny year. 2020 has been a year where we haven't been able to see our grandparents as much as we like because of this horrible thing called the pandemic. And I wonder how that's influenced you. Maybe you haven't been able to go to school. Maybe you haven't been able to go to kinder. Maybe you've only just started kinder. Well, at the start of the pandemic, my mum went and talked to her doctor. And her doctor said, Glenys, because that's Omar's name, and that's her there on the front page. They said, Glenys, you can't see your grandchildren for a while because you are at risk of getting sick. If they catch something, you might catch it from them. So you're not allowed to see them for a while. Now, my mum is grandma, or Oma, to 7 boys. 7 of them. 2 of them are mine. The other ones belong to other members of my family. And she felt terrible about that, especially given little Lewis. This is Lewis on the front, and he's got blonde hair. These are my 2 boys, Ollie and Jara here. They're a bit older. And they said, you won't be able to see them. And she was like, how am I going to explain that to Lewis? He's only 3 years old. How can I tell him that I can't give him a hug? She knew I was a music teacher. And she said, Jenny, could you please write me a song that I can sing and share with my grandchildren so that they will know that I love them? And this was it. It's called Oma and Opa's Song. I wonder if you saw any of these scary signs around when the pandemic was there. This playground closed because they're trying to keep you safe. But here we are. The world is big and scary, but I love you very much. The world is really crazy, so for now, we cannot touch. So there's my mum, there's Oma, and she's waving out the window. And there's Lewis in the car. But they're not allowed to touch each other for a while. They're not allowed to be with each other. Now here are my kids doing chalk drawings. I wonder if you did some chalk drawings while you were in lockdown. My kids did ones that stretch right down our driveway and beyond. But love is bigger than the mess and wider than the sky. I'll love you now, forever, and beyond the day I die. Now, here's a bit of a secret for you. This is how we gave hugs in the pandemic. We would Zoom. I wonder if you Zoomed with your grandparents, and we would hold ourselves really tight like this and go like this. And that was our hug. So this is what we're doing here. It's my son there. He's giving himself a hug. And this is Oma over here, and she's giving herself a hug. So hug yourself real tight, and I will hug myself back too. Have a big tight hug with both hands. There'll always be a place for you, no matter what you do. So hug yourself real tight, and I will hug myself back too. I'll pretend my arms are yours and know that I love you. Now I wonder if you can see what's happening here. The little boy lying down, and they've drawn around the outside I wonder if you can tell how this ends up being a hug.
The world seemed really big, but today it feels so small. And I tell you what, it certainly felt small some days during lockdown. Very small. The flap of wings from far away affects us one and all.
I wonder if you know people from other countries who have been affected by the pandemic because something little happened and now it's affected everybody in the whole world.
But kindness can seep through beyond where fear and hatred find.
There have been a lot of people who've been scared and a lot of people who've done yucky things because they are scared. But here's one of my sons, and he has a thing of toilet paper. And this actually happened. There was an old man walking along, and we said, "Do you need some toilet paper?" And he said, "I can't give you any money for that." And we said, "That's okay. This is for you." Because I don't know if you remember, but toilet paper was pretty scarce for a while there, and everyone was very worried that they'd run out. So this is kindness seeping through. And kindness has a chance to actually defeat hatred and fear if you are kind.
Now here, it's one of my sons with the scissors. And I wonder what he's doing with the cutout of his body. Loneliness less bleaker when I know I'm on your mind.
My Jarrah is left-handed. He sometimes struggles with the scissors, but I think he's doing okay there now.
So hug yourself real tight, and I will hug myself back too.
Here he is, colouring in the picture.
There'll always be a place for you, no matter what you do.
And they're putting it in an envelope. Who did they send it to? There's Omar and Opa. And what does it say on here? Big hug. They sent Omar and Opa a big hug.
So hug yourself real tight, and I will hug myself back too. I'll pretend my arms are yours and know that I love you.
What's this, I wonder? There are some black dots, and there are some words. This is some music. This is actually a book that you can sing. So, bit of homework for you all. I wonder if you could try and Zoom one of your grandparents, or maybe it's an aunt or an uncle, or someone you haven't seen for a while, and whether you could give them a big hug and pretend that your arms are theirs. And the other bit is, I wonder if you could make a hug, a paper hug, just like my sons did, and maybe you could send it to someone who hasn't had a chance to have a hug for a while. Here's the story, son. The world is big and scary, but I love you very much. The world is really crazy, so for now we cannot touch. But love is bigger than the mess and wider than the sky. I'll love you now forever and beyond the day I die. So hug yourself real tight and I will hug myself back too. There'll always be a place for you no matter what you do. So hug yourself real tight and I will hug myself back too. I'll pretend my arms are yours and know that I love you. The world seemed really big, but today it feels so small. The flap of wings from far away affects us one and all. But kindness can seep through beyond where fear and hatred find, and loneliness less bleaker when I know I'm on your mind. So hug yourself real tight and I will hug myself back too. There'll always be a place for you no matter what you do. So
So hug yourself real tight and I will hug myself back too. I'll pretend my arms are yours and know that I love you. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you for listening to the story. And I should say too, if you want the music, you can get it for free and you can download it, and you can get it for guitar and you can get the music for the piano, and there's a backing track too. So maybe you could sing this to someone that you love because you miss them as well.
Thank you. Bye.